Oh, I'm sorry, didn't hear that. I apologize. Okay,
Okay, you're good.
so this is the March 8th at 5:34 p.m. meeting of the Salem Public Library Advisory Board. And the first item of business is the approval of minutes. So I only had one comment. Does anyone have any comments about the minutes?
Just one correction. I'm listed as both excused and present. So I should just.
That was mine too. All right. And Denise? Unmute yourself. You're muted. Ha.
Okay, it wasn't working. Am I wrong, or did I think Jackie Lung was listed as present, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't, he was at the meeting.
She was listed as absent. Yes.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I
Yeah.
saw, I was reading under participant. Okay.
Right. I
never
got
mind.
it. It's, yeah, I get it. I had to call Clarissa because I couldn't find the link. So believe me, I get it. I had a panic attack at about 2 minutes before the meeting, like, ah. So, okay, so do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Okay, Lois, you approve the minutes? Do you have a second?
No, I wanted to say that I found several errors, just like in language, and like instead of saying born a crime, it says born of crime, and proving instead of providing. Should I just, and formal instead of former, should I just write those up and send them to Clarissa?
Is that agreeable to everybody?
It wasn't substantive, it was just,
Yeah,
okay.
I got it. Okay.
Okay. Well, I with those changes, I move to approve the minutes.
February. Yeah.
I
Anybody? Second, Gretchen, all in favor? Raise your hands. Opposed? Okay. So the next is do we have any public comment? No.
No public comment.
Okay, and information items. The Teen Advisory Board. Yes. Okay. Teen Advisory Board. You're next.
Hi, my name is Sage. I use them pronouns. I am a freshman at South Salem High School. So I do want to mention real quick before I get into it, we have Alexander Marvin here, also from the Teen Advisory Board. He's shadowing, so he's not going to be talking, but it's just so that he can see what it's like to give a report, and he'll be back some later month to give one in the future. So the Teen Advisory Board now has all of the tools and a plan to start a seed library pilot project this spring. We've worked with adult services to empty out a genuine historic Salem Public Library card catalog tabletop unit where we can store the seeds. We're working on an invitation to the community to donate seeds to share, and we'll also be spending funds from the Library Advisory Board to purchase and repackage bulk seeds. Since this is a pilot and a first-time project, we will begin by collecting and offering only seeds for things you can eat: vegetables, fruits, and herbs. We're also concentrating on rehoming unused commercial seeds and not taking harvested seeds at this time. We're excited to start in a small way and see how this project can grow.
Terrific. And welcome, Sam. Okay.
Paige. I'm Sam Hart. My pronouns are they, she. I'm a freshman at Elisa. I'm a bit of a third, so please forgive me if my voice is hoarse. We have decided on our Teen Advisory Board hosted program for this year. We fully plan and host at least one event per year. For 2023, it'll be a fashion show. We know that we want themes. We know we want it to be fun and to celebrate many styles. We're looking forward to more planning on how it will work and be a fun event for lots of teens. Our Teen Advisory Board will also be talked about at the Oregon Library Association's annual conference in April. Sonia will be co-presenting a session called Great Teen Groups, See How They Run with 2 other librarians. The session will also feature short video clips of our TAB members talking about why they are involved and what they do as TAB members. I have been involved with helping connect the library and the schools for a special event. We learned that the library was planning for a poetry slam at just the same time that our Gender Sexuality Alliance was interested in organizing a poetry slam. We have teamed up for a slam with the theme of exploring identity on the evening of Thursday, April 27th. It is only teens on stage, but the event is free and open to the public, and we would love to see any or all of you there.
Thank you. Good. Can I ask, since I couldn't hear all the detail there, is it possible that you could, if what you've presented is already written up, could you forward that to Clarissa so that we would have the benefit of seeing that detail, as long as it doesn't make extra work for you? Sam?
Yeah, I can of course send that. Sorry, my voice is kind of quiet. I've been losing it all day.
Sure, yeah. Thank you. I'll be looking forward to reading that, because the pieces I caught were really exciting for both of your reports. Yeah.
And can I add a comment? I think if anybody should be presenting at any of the conferences, it's our teen advisory group. Because the entire time I've been on the library advisory board, I've just been blown away by their talent and brilliance. So I'm very proud that they will be representing us.
I agree.
Yeah. So should we get on to the city librarians report, Kim?
Sure. Did everybody have a chance to read the city librarians report? Does anybody have any questions? We do have, we are going to be sending out some information, email blast about, we have some hotspots and Chromebooks that are Wi-Fi capable that we'd like to send some information out that people can check out. We're also working on getting our library of things out on the floor. Really excited about that. We had a superbly successful Salem Reads program. Sonia did the last program last night, which was a reading of the stories that folks wrote for the writing contest about people who shaped them. And she had, I think, 75 people attend to listen to the stories. It was really, really, really great. Great book, great participation. We have our new art exhibit up in the hall now that in the art hall now that Salem Reads has taken their stuff down. We also just had a first all staff day since I've been with the library, which was very successful based on the feedback that we're getting from it. So that was exciting. And yeah, things are going really well. I shared in the report some of the statistics from programming. We're seeing our programming go up back to, having the attendance that, was more like pre-COVID times. And we're also seeing the library get busy and busier, especially with the Saturday programs. I don't know if anybody was able to attend the Charo program that was here last weekend, but it was really, really successful, really great stuff. So we're super excited about what's coming up and just, keep plugging along.
Does anybody have any questions of Kim?
Hey, Kim?
Yeah. Denise?
Oh, I'm sorry. Good.
Kim, I wanted to ask you about the homebound program. You've got it listed here. I ran into a woman who is Spanish speaking and disabled and homebound. And so my first question is, do you have Spanish speaking materials and volunteers? And maybe even a written document. I go to the YMCA with her and I see her regularly. I would like to bring her a paper. I do not speak Spanish, but she understood a little bit and she was very interested in that. That's
Is
question one.
interested in the homebound program, or are you interested in just materials and programs that we have in Spanish?
She would not be able to get out to the library.
Mhm. Yes.
Um,
So we
yeah.
do have materials in Spanish that that we could set her up with. They may not be large print per se, but we also have audiobooks and books in Spanish as well.
Okay. And do you have a flyer that we can present to these people?
We can certainly work on getting a flyer. I don't know that we have one in Spanish, but that would be something that we could provide too.
When you do, I'd sure like to have that. She's really interested.
Okay.
Yes. And then my second question is, I'm running into a lot of people who are very interested in becoming library members, but just do not have, just can't get down to the library. Now, so I looked up different libraries who will do online, where you can get your library card online. You can upload the materials that are required to identify who you are, that kind of thing. Is that something we can do?
We currently have online registration. So what you do is you make a temporary card and then you can come to the library and get the actual physical card, but the temporary card is good for a certain amount of time. And then you can access audio, the digital collections that we have. So we currently have that available. We've had that available since, I think it really took off during COVID. A lot of people use that service. So so we have that currently right now. If you go to our website and go to the where you go to see the catalog, you can go to create an account. It'll take you to create an online account.
Okay, so what I gleaned from that, looking at the website to see what we had before addressing this, I saw that on the website, you know, you could upload your materials, but do you actually have to come to the library to get the physical card, or can you just get digital materials if you can't ever come to the library?
So you could, so it was during COVID that you could just do the digital card. So now that card will expire within a certain amount of time. And then we would then you would need to come in to get the full card. But we're working to try and have more access through digital cards, but it's a program we have. It's a software program that we need to purchase. And so we're looking into that. We need to kind of run it by IT because they have to make sure it meets all the IT requirement. But we were just talking about that in our leadership team meeting today, and that it's called an e-card, and we might be able to offer that. But so that's kind of what we're working on right now. There's a temporary card, so it's not quite what you're asking or wanting, but the possibility is there to do something more than that.
That would be so helpful to so many people. And thank you for answering that.
Sure. We're also working with CCRLS to try to get, I think I mentioned this before, to have a high school student's ID in Salem Kaiser School District work as a library card itself too.
Mm-hmm. It'd be nice to be able to register people through the DMV when they move to our state too. Thank you for answering.
Any other questions for Kim? Yeah, Lois?
I have another question, but would it be possible for somebody like Denise was talking about, could somebody else pick up the card for them, or do they have to appear in person?
So that's a great question. I think that's something we need to talk about with our circulation team, because right now we don't have that as part of our setup. But, you know, we can certainly talk about that and work something out with that person individually, and then create it as part of a process. Ideally, it would be part of a process, right, that anybody could do.
Okay, and I had a question about your where it says strategic plan updates, that your teams are they reported briefly on what they will be focusing on as they continue with the Get Moving phase. So what are they focusing on?
So they're not, right now they're creating a scoping and action plan for each imperative. And so they just met briefly at our all staff meeting, just to kind of get grounding underneath them, set meeting rules, and just talk about some of the things that they think may be part of the imperative. So we really don't have much on that point yet. Our teams are going to be planning another meeting, and then we'll have our final meeting with Coraggio to really set the action plan in order. And then I'll have that to share out with the lab.
Any
Thank
other
you, Kim.
questions? Thank you. So now the next item on the agenda is the chair report, and actually it's going to be 3 of us doing this because 3 of us, Lois, David, and I, have collaborated. And so let's see, Lois, I think you were going to take item number 1. First of all, I should say that the 3 of us met with Mayor Hoy, and for probably almost an hour, we heard about his wonderful experience in Washington, D.C. when he was one of 12 mayors who were invited to the Capitol, and the personal time he actually spent with President Biden, and how activating that was for him and how exciting it was. And I know that at one of the city council meetings, they agreed to establish a federal link, a federal, like maybe lobbyist type of role for the city of Salem to try to bring down resources. And I think, and he agreed that this was part of the outgrowth or the successful meeting that he had in DC. So we have about 8 things that we covered with him. We had only thought we would do 1, but he was really receptive and it was great. So Lois, you're first.
Okay, one of the things we talked to him about was wanting to be involved with the siting of the future branches. And so we asked him if there is a committee or a group of people that are getting together to plan that. And it sounds like there are, although the branches will probably be, as Francine has talked about, in the last 10 years of the bond. So he said he would check with the people who are working on the bond and see if perhaps there would be a place for somebody from lab to be on that committee. He seemed receptive, and I think we probably need to check back with him about that. But yeah, he seemed receptive, and he seemed excited about the possibility of new library branches.
One thing that I liked that he said was, one of the things about being mayor is you can make appointments. So yeah, so that gave me the feeling that he, if he sees a spot where he thinks it'll be appropriate for us to have input, that he has the authority to make that. So thank you, Lois. And should we go on? You want to just do the other one that you were going to do?
Sure. So we also talked to him about the possibility of having a city councilor as a liaison to the library advisory board, because it seems that some boards are having this now, and I think it's a good idea, because then you have somebody that you can kind of go to on a regular basis or invite them to your meetings, and they know kind of about what you've been talking about on your board. And he again seemed receptive to that, and he said he will make a decision on which counselor he might appoint to the position of being the liaison to our board. And so I haven't heard, I don't know if you have, Francine, whether he actually did that.
No.
No. Do you want me to do my
Number
next?
8. The number 8. Yeah.
Okay, So I guess I remember this different than you did from what you wrote me. I remember that David talked to him about the fact that our board does have some funds and some at our disposal, and that as so being part of the city community, we have those funds at our disposal. And then I don't remember that we talked about funding for the library in general, but David, do you remember what was said? Because I don't remember anything else about that.
Now, can you guys hear me? Yeah, I know. I think we talked about funding for the library and the value and importance of it, and the recognizing that we had some money to put into it, as well as the Friends and the foundation, and they were all invested in the library and wanted to support it. And he was very receptive to that. And and then we kind of went into the discussion about branches and what's going to come out of the study that they're doing, and he was very bullish on library expansion and activities.
Thanks, David, for filling in there. It was a really, I thought it was a very nice meeting in general.
So David, do you want to take your items that you were going to cover?
No, just yeah, sure. I'll jump in. I'll just say it as an aside. I've met with politicians over the years, and I've never had to. Usually, I've been asked to leave after 15 or 20 minutes. You give them their pitch, and you're done. He spoke to us well over an hour. Didn't really want us to leave. I had another meeting to go to, and I had to leave, and so we had to end the meeting. But it was like, yeah, it was very, very productive. As I said, I think we talked about the library's investment, the LAB's investment in the library, as well as what the community invests in the library. And he was very impressed to hear that. We also talked about the potential vacancies on the board, and I think the general sense is that the folks that currently are on the board want to continue on, but that we would confirm that with the members once we get an updated list. I think those were the two highlights. Again, it was a very productive meeting. And I don't want to steal, well, I won't steal Francine's thunder, but a lot of positives that came out of that meeting. So
yeah, I think that he was kind of surprised at the number of vacancies that have occurred over the past year on lab, and wondered what was behind that. And
that's right.
And we explained that, that 3 of the vacancies that occurred were because of personal reasons of people being like overwhelmed at their jobs or family and illnesses and stuff. So he was really relieved about that. But I also explained to him, I felt it was some of our people who are currently on lab their terms are going to end in June. And I said, I think it's really important for people's engagement, that they see that the time that they're giving up to come to meetings and to think about stuff and to read stuff, that it's solid stuff, and engagement is what's going to keep people connected. And that's why we're kind of coming to him to sort of bring up the things that have been brought up among us. And like, for example, the siting of the new buildings. And the other thing is that last meeting, I explained that Mayor Hoy is reorganizing city government, and he has a new city manager, Ken Staley. And under that, there are 2 deputy city managers, one of whom is for what's called community services. And the position for that closed the application on February 5th. So I asked him, were there applicants to close? He said yes. And actually, he has invited me to be on the community group that's going to sit in on the interviews for that position. And I'm really glad, even if we don't get a chance to ask a question, what I think it'll give me is an understanding of where the people who are applying are coming from, how they think, how they present themselves, because they're going to be Kim's boss. And they're going to also be a resource to us. So understanding like what they're about and how they view the many things under community services. The library is just one, but it's a very important one, along with parks, those two. So I'm really excited that that he is reached out immediately afterwards after contacting his city manager, Ken Saley, to be sure that we could be invited, that I could be invited.
Well, and let's say it. You got a response back in what, 2 hours?
Right.
After our meeting?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think the other side of it is not only do we have a seat at the table to ask the questions, but the mayor and the administration think that we're important enough to have a seat at the table. And as Francis said, even if, we don't get to answer a question, the administration has made a statement by having us at the table. And I think that's really important.
So at a couple of city council meetings, there have been presentations by other boards and commissions, and he does plan to invite the lab to do a presentation to the council at some future time, as not yet determined, which is fine with me. The one other thing to follow up on is about the bus stop. I asked him about, reminded him about the letter I sent regarding the removal of the bus stops in north and southbound routes, stopping at both City Hall, which is now open, and the safety of pedestrians, which aligns with Councilor Stapleton's Vision Zero for reducing traffic fatalities in Salem to zero. And I think I get the sense that they've been through this with chariots, but he did give a suggestion that we meet with the board, the equivalent of like our board with chariots, and see if we could get some traction with getting them to relook at that. And I will follow up with that. I haven't as yet, but I will. So that's, we've talked about that over the past year, ever since a couple of months after the library opened. And I think Lois was the one who noticed that there were no more buses stopping there. And that started our interest in it, started over a year ago. So we're continuing to pursue the question, and whether we get the answer we want is out of our control, but I think we can continue to ask for things that will align with their goals of traffic safety, pedestrian safety. Okay, so I guess the next thing I'm hoping that David, you were going to do about the summer interns. Are we going to cover that with Sonia? We didn't really hear from Sonia during the team. Is this going to be a discussion item? Would be the summer interns? Sonia? I wasn't going to bring it up under the chair's report because I was going to leave it for whenever you give us an update. Yeah.
Sure, we can talk about this whenever it suits you all.
Okay. Okay, so maybe we should finish up the information items and then go to discussion items and have it under that. Would you say? Okay.
Francine, the only thing I would say is that one of the items we wanted to talk about was the updated funding guidelines. I don't know if we want to finalize that first before we hear from Sonia, or she can get grandfathered in and give us a proposal, however you want to do it.
Whatever's easiest and efficient. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll let you, you should decide. You've done the work on the form and everything.
So I'm fine whenever the board wants to hear the funding request, and we can hear from Sonia concurrently or before. That's fine.
Okay. So is there a report? Well, first of all, are there any questions of us, of the three of us, for the marvelous experience we had over this past month?
Yeah, that's really great.
Okay, so is there a report from Friends? No? How about from the foundation? Gretchen?
Nothing new.
Gretchen, you were going to ask about getting some like theft proof things on the artwork.
They have things on there in different formation.
Okay, so a buzzer or
The
something.
ones- Yes, that was seen too.
Okay,
And in the past, yeah.
okay. So, okay, so that closes the information items, and the next section would be discuss. Oh, Lois?
Gretchen, will we get any kind of update on like what, I don't know if there's going to be a survey of what people thought about Salem Reed or numbers. I'm curious about numbers. I went to one of the comedy thing, and there were like 20 people there, which was kind of sad, but that was the first, I think that was the first event. So I would be curious just to see, first of all, the numbers and also the diversity of people that took part.
Sonia?
Kate works on a report after it's all over, and it wasn't all over until last night. So the final event actually took place last evening. And so we're going to anticipate it's going to have a report and some information all put together by your next meeting.
I couldn't hear any of that.
Oh, really? Am I not on?
I'll fill in. Since they issue a report at the end was not until yesterday. Okay, and so they will put the information together and provide it by the next meeting,
And you'll give it to us?
if you're nice.
I'm always nice. Well, maybe not, but okay. All right, thanks, Gretchen.
Dave?
Just a quick question, actually, for Kim. Have you heard from the folks at Friends? I know they kind of have had a tough few months, and just wondering how they're doing, if they're back on track. And I know they got a big fundraiser coming up in a few months, and just want to get a state of how they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, they have their meeting tomorrow night. They're still in limbo, so they're in the process of posting the position of a bookstore manager and kind of working through what that looks like. They also, the former person, didn't keep a lot of records, so they're trying to kind of organize how they're trying to kind of put like a system in place for the next person that takes over that role. And so they're doing okay, but yeah, it's a transitional time for them, and I think that hopefully maybe by June they'll have somebody hired for the role of the bookstore manager, and that will help a lot. So
Is that a volunteer position, or is that a paid position?
no, it's a paid position. Yeah,
Is that part-time or full-time?
I think it's 30 hours a week, if I recall.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we'll help get the word out once they get the job description ready to post. We'll help them with posting it.
Okay, on to discussion items. Okay. So, maybe we should begin, since I think, David, are you still on with us? I think you
Yeah,
stepped.
sorry.
Okay,
Yes, I'm still here. Sorry.
good. Okay. So why don't you and Sonia figure out
Well, Sonia made a presentation to us at last month's meeting. And then we kind of reviewed our funding guidelines. And so I think where we kind of left it was just to give the board an opportunity if they had any additional questions. I would say, based on her presentation, she's kind of grandfathered in. So I don't know, she necessarily needs to abide by our funding guidelines. But if there are any questions from the board. If not, I'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
I have a question. The contribution that was discussed of $3,500, which would cover the cost of one of the interns, there was also a equal amount that would be from the library's resources. Is that secured? Is that other position secured?
Yes.
So there will be, if we fund the one, there will be there will be two.
There will
Okay,
be-
thank you.
So I guess the question is, do you need us to fund two positions or just one?
Just one.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board? Lois?
I'm not sure. Are we considering funding the position, or are we talking about the rules? I kind of lost.
No worries. We're voting on the proposal that Sonia had provided to us at last month's meeting.
Okay.
Then after that, we'll vote on the rules.
Yeah, so we need a motion.
Yes. So if there are no other questions, is there a motion to accept the proposal from Sonia? Denise, is that you making the motion?
I'm sorry, it's hard to unmute my computer for some reason. Would you remind us again of what this entails in terms of the fund? How much?
So she's requesting $3,500 for a teen intern for the summer to assist at the library.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I will go ahead and make a motion that we give $35,000.
Nope. 3,500.
Excuse me, $3,500 to fund an intern. That is so much better.
35,000. That's a really expensive intern.
Yeah,
I want that
That
job.
would be a
Did not
the
mean to
summer.
say that. I
Oh,
didn't-
no,
If
no
you give it
worries.
to my son, I'll accept.
I'll second.
Okay, great. It's been moved and seconded. Any additional discussion? Hearing none. Congratulations, Sonia. We will work with you in terms of getting you the 3,500 for
vote.
the.
We have to vote, David.
We voted already. Didn't we vote
No,
already?
we just got a second.
Okay, sorry about that. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you, Lois. It's been moved and seconded and voted on, and so congratulations, Sonia. You have a teen intern for the summer.
Excited to do this and excited for you to do this.
Great. So, Francis, if you would like, let's see, I can go on to the next item and just talk about the guidelines and some of the changes the committee made.
Please
Does that
do.
work?
Your
Okay.
committee, you have a good committee that, I appreciate the teamwork that you and Joe and Mel. Yeah.
Yeah, they are all very helpful. So thanks to both of them. The big change that we made based on the feedback that we got from staff and from the advisory board members is, if you look on the second page, we added the following criteria. Has the project been reviewed and approved by the city librarian and or library staff? So that will add an additional step to just insert, in developing this, we assumed it would have already been run by the library, but I think that the board and I think staff wanted a further clarification of that. So there will be a step that it's been reviewed and approved by city librarian and or library staff. So are there any other questions regarding this new request form? Lois, you've asked enough questions tonight. I have to go.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Lois, go ahead.
Well, after that, I kind of don't feel like I should ask anything. I just
No.
wondered if this
No.
will be on our website, like, so if somebody, well, first of all, probably most people don't know we have money to spend. And so will there be information about it at the Library Advisory Board page?
Kim, is that something that's doable? Can you turn this into a PDF to post that on the page?
Yeah, we can post something on you want it on the lab page.
Well, do we want it on the lab page or the library page?
Well, the lab, like the lab page is part of the library website, I guess I would say.
I don't know if we want it on the main page or just if people can then just go to our page or just go to our section. I guess that makes more sense. Any other questions? I don't know, Madam Chair, if we need a motion or just if it's the consent, we want a motion. So I make the motion that we accept the recommendations from the committee to create a funding request form.
I second it.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any additional discussion? Joe, you look like you're in a very dark room. Are you in a very dark room?
No, I'm at work, and unfortunately the lights are being kind of shut off around me and the car's leaving.
Is that what that is?
Wow.
Long story.
kind of looks kind of spooky. So anyway, no, I'm glad everything is okay. I'm sorry, any additional discussion? So we'll call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The new funding request form has been approved. And thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along here. Let's see. So I guess that concludes our meeting. Yeah. So anybody want to bring up anything for the group? I really hope that what we've shown is that we can get stuff done and that we want to, and that those of you whose terms end in June will give serious consideration to being upping for another 4 years commitment. I know, last time I came up I had a partial term and I thought about ending, and then there was some hook that just got me. So I hope we've given all of you like a hook to go, well, that's important to me and to the people.
So do we need to have maybe at our April meeting just a list of who's up?
I thought that it would be good in May when we meet in person to do that, because
that's a good
June
idea.
is when the terms end. And the mayor said that generally, if people have been on and reapply, unless there's been some big issue, that generally they automatically will reappoint, and that'll avoid that lag where, the appointments are only done certain times of the calendar year on the city council agenda. So there's sometimes like not enough, if there aren't. So anyway, it's more efficient if we kind of know before June. Okay. All right. So our next meeting will be in April is it April 12th? Was that the right date? It's 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And I guess I see you all then. All right. Thank you all for being engaged.
Do we need a motion to adjourn?
Okay. So do it. Do it, dude.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second? Great.
Sarah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I think we're good. And meeting ended at